Africa, Africa, Africa. We love you, we do. Our hearts beat for you. With every step I take, I'll fight for you for God's sake. We love you, we do. Our hearts beat for you. With every step I take, I'll fight for you for God's sake. Africa.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. I'm Mr. Yusuf, the mind builder and mentor to children. I'm in Accra, Ghana, in West Africa. I've been here 2.5 years. And my main reason for coming to Africa was to mentor children. Why? Because I saw young people dying in the Sahara Desert, drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to get to Europe, for a better life. And I was really disturbed by that. So I said to myself, what can I do? How can I help? Those are my people. I'm part of them. I need to be with them. So I've picked up the mission, to come here and work with children, building their minds, mentoring them about things that they need to know about being an African, because obviously these things have not been ingrained in their minds because the way they are running from this continent, and it doesn't make sense. Our children are our greatest natural resources. Africa is full of natural resources like gold, diamonds, cocoa, coltan, magnesium, lithium. Has a lot of natural resources, and it's the wealthiest continent on the face of the earth, and it's the only continent that can survive without the other continents. And so these things that have been given to Africa by God is an inheritance for Africans. This is an inheritance for Africans from God. And it's obvious to me that our children don't know and understand that. That's why they are running. That's why they're leaving the continent. I mean, every day I see this, there are agencies from Canada and UK recruiting our children, telling them they come there for a better life. Now I understand that the governments are working against these children in some way. They're not getting, proper, schools being built. They're not getting, proper tools like books and things of this nature. They don't have access to them. The average child here, I see this and I understand that. But I believe that if these children were taught who they are and how much power that they do have, they would not want to run from this continent. So this is why I'm here, and I'm very passionate about what I'm saying about our youth. African children need to have an African-centered education with cultural relevance. I'm going to repeat that. African children should have an African-centered education with cultural relevance, meaning they need to know things about themselves, not about other people, about themselves first. And by doing that, then they will get this strong sense of power and knowing who they are and trying to uplift this continent. And it's only going to come from the youth, this upliftment of the African continent, giving it a new image. It's only going to come from these young people. Africa has the youngest population on the face of the earth. We have the youngest population on the face of the earth. The average age here is 19 years old. So we can do a lot of things with those young people. For instance, building a military, to protect the continent. We have a lot of young people who can build a military and protect this continent. And this is something that we need to do once we unite the continent. I'm a Pan-Africanist, and our feelings about uniting the continent is that it will make Africa a more powerful nation if it could unite. The 55 states, some people say 54, with the 55 nations on the African continent, if they would unite, we will become a very, very powerful nation. With the natural resources that we have in the ground, we can do a lot of things. So basically, this is why I'm here. To talk to children, to talk to the youth, to mentor them, to tell them the things that I see that they don't know, they don't realize. And patriotism is a must. We must teach our children to be patriotic to this continent. We need to ingrain this in their minds that they're in the best place in the world to be. Africa is the best place in the world to be because whoever controls Africa controls the world because of the natural resources that are here. So we need to teach this to our children. We need to ingrain in their minds, to make them feel powerful, so that they can stay and do the right thing by this continent, such as keeping it safe. We have the young capacity, to build a strong military. And, security is very important. Everybody is security conscious in the world. So Africa should be no different. So I'm here to do whatever I can do, as an African American, who has great love for his people, great love for the African continent. I must admit I didn't always feel this way because I didn't know. I didn't know. I was not taught in school in America to love Africa, to love African people. I didn't even love myself, because I'm a descendant of African slaves, and we were taught to hate ourselves, And so I grew up that way, hating myself, hating my big nose, my complexion, my kinky hair. We were taught to hate ourselves because of these things, because the standard of beauty that was given to us was the standard of white people's beauty, what they look like. So if you look like an African, then voila, you felt, well, I'm not pretty because I don't have this standard of beauty of, white skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. So we have to change this narrative for our children. I see little African children going to school with book bags here, and they have these white girls, white princes, blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. And some people may say, well, what's wrong with that? They're just children. It's just an image of someone. That is true. But in America, I never see young white girls with backpacks with little African girls on them, So, and the question should be why? If you say they're just children and there's nothing wrong with having this white image on the book bag of a little black girl in Africa, there's nothing wrong with that, then why don't little white girls in America and UK go to school with backpacks with little African girls on them with black skin, kinky hair, thick lips, big nose, and all of these other characteristics that characterize African people? So I'm here. I've written a book called What Africa Need, and it's really a children's book, and it details in the book the primary things that our children should know. And by knowing these things, I believe that it will keep our children here on this continent because they are running every day. They're leaving this continent, going to Europe, going to America, and elsewhere. And it's very sad. Where my office is located here in Accra, there are people here. It's a hostel, but my office is located inside the hostel. And there are people here from various countries, waiting. They have agents who are trying to get them to America. And I have seen some leave, I have seen some leave since I've been here, their agents got them to America. And these are young, African people, talented. Our talent is being recruited. And we have to put a stop to this. So this is why Mr. Yusuf is here in Africa. I left America. I have no intention to ever live in America again. This is my prayer. I don't want to live in America again, because this is ground zero, for the liberation, for the survival, of African people. This is ground zero to change the narrative, to give Africa a better image. And we have to do it ourselves. So I encourage all African people all over the earth, to come back home. We have a lot to do here, and we have the resources here that we need in order to make the image of Africa better. It's up to us. No one is going to do this but us. So we have to start with these children. We have to start teaching them who Patrice Lumumba was, who Joshua Nkrumah was, who Robert Mugabe was, who Julius Nyerere was, who Jomo Kenyatta was, who Stephen Biko was, Chris Hani, Emile Cabral from Guinea-Bissau. We have to teach these people who they were. Samari Machel. We have to teach these are African revolutionary heroes, and our children need to know these things. I wasn't even born here and raised in Africa. I was not educated in Africa, but I know these things. And I see the children here now. I quiz them. I ask them these people's names. They said they never heard of Patrice Lumumba. They don't know who he was. This man is very, he is an icon. He should be an icon, in African revolutionary thought, just like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. These men are icons, and our children should see them as our heroes. These men are revolutionary, So I'm able to sit here in Africa and do what I'm doing now because of what these men did. I'm able to say what I'm saying because of what these men did. They put their lives on the line. So we thank them for what they have done and given us the opportunity to do. So, as usual, I thank you for honoring me with your time. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, to my channel. Thank you.